After 3 years undercover, my best friend was sleeping with my fiancé. I collapsed on the way to their wedding. Chapter 1. I died. The day before New Year's Eve. My body floated in a drainage ditch for 20 days. When they found me, I was swollen like a massive balloon. Skin stretched translucent, crumbling at the slightest touch. My fingers were gone, just a pulpy mess of bone and flesh that no one could tell apart. Even the most experienced coroner looked away. But I was still here. My spirit floated in the autopsy room, watching them examine my unrecognizable body. The coroner pointed at a frame on the screen. "Detective Cheng, look." A blurry silhouette reflected on glass. But Kyle still recognized me. He couldn't stop shaking, his voice cracking. "No way, how could this be her?" I wanted to tell him, "Kyle, it's me." But I couldn't make a sound. The coroner said, "Detective, stay calm. Lots of people have similar builds, similar voices." Kyle ran out of the autopsy room and dialed a number. "Lucas, is that video you showed me 3 years ago, the one of Chloe running off with someone, is it real?" Lucas. My fiancé. Hearing that name, my spirit trembled. A cold laugh came through the phone. "Detective Cheng, is today the anniversary of your sister running off with some foreigner?" Why the sudden questions? Kyle's voice was hoarse. "I just have doubts. I don't think she actually went abroad." Went abroad? Lucas cut him off impatiently. "You saw the video. You saw the photos. What, you're gonna make up a story now, say she was kidnapped?" The line went dead. 2 videos came through. First video, me leaning against a blonde guy, face full of disgust. "Stop looking for me. I'm happy, don't bother me." They didn't know, that video was shot with a gun pressed against my back. Every word, the muzzle dug in deeper. Second video, a wedding. Lucas in a white suit, arm in arm with Vivian Lynn, walking into the church. My stomach clenched. 7 years. I'd been with him for 7 years. Countless times I'd imagined him in a wedding suit. The first time I actually saw it, was at his wedding to someone else. Chapter 2. I floated back to the autopsy room. The coroner suddenly shouted, "Detective Cheng. There's a red mole under the right ear." Kyle froze. He grabbed his keys and ran out, hands shaking so badly it took 3 tries to start the car. I floated in the passenger seat, staring at the little kitty charm on the dashboard. I'd forced that on him. "Even if I'm gone, you're never taking this off." He was barely 30, but his hair was already half gray. Screeching tires. Kyle jumped out and punched Lucas in the face. "Lucas. Swear on your life, did my sister really go abroad?" Lucas wiped blood from his lip. "Detective Cheng, you losing it. You saw the video, you think I'd make myself look like a cuckold? That mutilated body in the morgue, it has the same red mole under the right ear as Chloe." The wine glass in Lucas's hand shattered. Vivian walked over, smile frozen. "What's going on?" Seeing her, I relaxed a little. Before I left, she'd overheard me talking about my mission. I made her promise to keep it secret, to look after Kyle and Lucas. With her here, someone would claim my body. Chloe just sent me travel photos from abroad. Vivian pulled out her phone. She's got another new guy, African this time. They're crazy in love. No way she's dead. I floated in the air, my fingers going cold. That photo was from my first month undercover. How was this just sent? Watching her cling to Lucas, sickly sweet, my stomach churned. Lucas and I used to fight all the time. Vivian always played peacemaker, explaining to him that girls needed attention. We survived 7 years because of her. I had no parents. Kyle was all rough edges, didn't understand girl stuff. Vivian was like a real sister to me. Before I died, my biggest regret was not saying goodbye properly. I thought her marrying Lucas was just him finding comfort after I was gone. Now, seeing the triumph she couldn't quite hide, I finally understood. She'd been in love with him all along. The whole time, I was the only fool who thought she was family. My hands started fading, dissolving bit by bit. Church bells rang. 8 hours left until the 48-hour deadline. Chapter 3. A phone rang. A technician's urgent voice, Detective Cheng. We decrypted part of the memory card. We can take down most of their operation. The files are signed, CY. Kyle's phone hit the floor. After a long moment, he bent to pick it up, fingers trembling, common initials. Doesn't prove anything. What about DNA? Still processing. The body's too damaged, might not get anything. I floated outside the police station, watching his hurried back. Remembering the day I got into journalism school. I burst into the station and slapped the acceptance letter down on his desk. Kyle. I'm gonna be the most righteous journalist ever. I'll expose all the darkness with my camera. And if I die in the dark, you have to bring me back to the sun. He'd ruffled my hair, whatever Chloe wants, I support. But later. I didn't become a journalist exposing darkness. I became a spy hiding in it. Didn't make him proud. Made him cling to 2 letters in a station, pretending to be calm. Waiting for a report that would sentence me to death, but a death of honor. The coroner's voice drifted over. The victim suffered extreme torture before death. 10 fingers crushed. Ankles and wrists slashed. Later, someone poured concentrated sulfuric acid down her throat. Esophagus and stomach lining completely corroded through. She must have swallowed the memory card while still conscious, 2 deep lacerations in her throat. Everyone stopped breathing. Lucas stepped forward, forcing a laugh. Detective Cheng, you're not seriously thinking this anonymous hero is Chloe, are you? Don't polish your sister's image. She said she'd be a righteous journalist, then ran off with some guy. She didn't have the guts to go through this. Vivian suddenly ran over with her phone. Look. Chloe just emailed me again. Sis. I'm in Ireland. Got another new guy. Lost my camera, so no photos, bummer. Attached photo, me leaning against a pale guy, fake smile plastered on. A thin bracelet on my wrist, the kind I never wore. Vivian patted her chest, good thing she lost the memory card. See? Not Chloe. She'd cry over a paper cut, no way she'd endure this. Lucas stared at the photo, smile turning sour, told you she didn't have it in her. Only one person could mimic my voice perfectly, could fake photos and send them fast. Watching Vivian's fake smile, I felt like I was drowning in ice. Remembering the day before I was exposed. I'd been tracking a deal. The boss spotted Lucas and Vivian on their honeymoon. I swallowed my jealousy and convinced them to pick another target. That slip cost me. As they dragged me into the van, I saw Vivian look back through the window. Our eyes met for a second, then she grabbed Lucas's neck, wind's picking up, let's go that way. Blocking his view deliberately. I thought she was just protecting her secret, afraid of losing him. I never realized she actually wanted me dead. Even now, seeing my mutilated body, she felt nothing. 30 minutes left. I was almost transparent. I floated beside Kyle, my head resting on his shoulder. Weightless, but I couldn't breathe. The people I'd given my life to protect, turned out to be the ones who pushed me into the abyss. 7 minutes left. Detective Cheng. DNA results are in. The technician ran in with the report, the victim, is your sister, Chloe Cheng. Chapter 4. Kyle froze. He stared at the unrecognizable body on the autopsy table. That red mole under the right ear, he'd touched it since she was little, vague but unmistakable. Impossible. He stumbled forward, hand reaching out, then pulled back suddenly. He was scared. Lucas went white, stumbling into the wall. She's abroad, how? Kyle's eyes fixed on where her fingers should have been. Remembering her learning piano as a kid, fingertips calloused but still demanding he listen to Twinkle Twinkle. The day she got into journalism school, poking his chest with that admission letter, "I'm gonna expose your corruption someday." Now that hand was just rotting meat. He bent over, gasping, tears hitting the floor. "Chloe. I'm sorry. I failed you." Thinking of that elope video 3 years ago. Lucas calling her a gold digger who ran off with a foreigner. His own mission, too busy to even call back. If he'd just asked one more question, would she have suffered like this? Lucas stared at the faint scar on her wrist. Cold all over. From the silver bracelet he'd given her, worn thin over the years. Detective Cheng. An officer ran in, the black market guy, Zhang. He confessed everything. Chloe went undercover 3 years ago. She pretended to be a journalist with $50,000 in gambling debts. Made a scene at their deal spot. Got beaten up but kept begging, "Whatever pays, I'll do it." She played it too well. 3 years, she recorded deals with hidden cameras, copied ledgers onto toilet paper, smuggled them in her shoes. Kyle's voice cracked. How was she exposed? Day at the docks. They spotted a couple taking photos. Boss wanted to grab them. Chloe suddenly stepped in, said pick another target, argued with him. Boss got suspicious. Had someone check her background. Found the videos and ledgers in her rental. Boss threw her in the water prison. Underground, 3 levels down, below freezing, water had ice chunks. 1 moldy bread roll a day. She got so hungry she ate moss off the walls. Wouldn't talk. Boss had them take hammers to her fingers. One by one. She screamed so loud the whole basement heard, never begged. Fingers gone, still wouldn't talk. They cut her tendons, hung her from the ceiling, dumped ice water on her. Kyle crouched, hands covering his face. Remembering her as a kid, cut herself slicing veggies, would run to him demanding a kiss. No one was kissing this wound. Then what? She passed out. They thought she was dead, dumped her in the ditch. Zhang said she woke up while they were dumping her. Boss poured sulfuric acid down her throat. She thrashed in the ditch, skin sloughing off, then went still. Chapter 5. Kyle stood up, bring Zhang here. Zhang shuffled past in cuffs, spotted Lucas, started laughing like crazy. Ha 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 ha. You. Because of you and your woman, Chloe died. Lucas trembled. Vivian collapsed, muttering, no way. She was protecting me. Zhang slammed against the wall, still cackling. That day at the docks, Chloe fought with our boss to protect you. If she hadn't stuck her neck out, she'd never have been exposed. Never had her fingers crushed, tendons cut. Lucas grabbed his collar. What are you saying? What else? Lucas's grip loosened. He nearly fell. Remembering that afternoon. Vivian pulling him, winds picking up, let's go that way. Blocking his view on purpose. All that time, she'd been right there, throwing herself into hell to save him. He covered his face, sobbing into his palms. 7 years together. The candy she'd slip into his pocket after every fight. The late nights staying up to edit his business plans, fingers red from cold, never complaining. And him? He believed Vivian's lies. Thought Chloe was a gold digger who ran off. Stood by her unrecognizable body and called her gutless. Vivian suddenly scrambled toward Kyle. Detective Cheng. I know where the evidence is. Chloe sent me a backup ledger, hid it behind the radiator in her apartment. Why didn't you say so before? She crawled to Lucas, grabbing his leg. Lucas, I know I was wrong. Can you forgive me? Lucas kicked her off, staring down. Chloe got her fingers crushed, tendons cut, acid poured down her throat saving us, and where were you? You were taking wedding photos with me. Planning our wedding. You saw them drag her away. You knew she was undercover. You said nothing. Faked the elope video. Faked her emails. You watched her die in that ditch. Watched me blame her, curse her. Were you proud of yourself? Vivian shook uncontrollably. I wasn't. I was scared of losing you. I thought if she disappeared, you'd stay with me forever. Stay with you? Lucas laughed bitterly. Right now, just looking at you makes me sick. Chloe thought you were her sister. Told you everything, even where she hid the evidence. And you? You took her trust and used it as a knife to push her into hell. He crouched, grabbed her wrist. She screamed, couldn't pull away. Lucas let go, stepped back like she was poison. Anything to make it right? Then go apologize to Chloe. Go to her mutilated body and say you're sorry. But can you bring her back? You can't. Chapter 6. The apartment was covered in thin dust. The door opened, familiar scent rushing out. Kyle walked straight to the radiator, pried off the cover, felt around until his fingers touched a plastic-wrapped bundle. A notebook. Inside, dense scrawls, dates, locations, names. Every organ deal, every victim's information. Neat handwriting, until the last few pages, where it got hasty, urgent. His fingers traced the final page. My name. Next to it, a little sun doodle. Chloe. Lucas leaned in. Tears fell. Remembering, every time I wrote something, I'd draw a little sun in the margin. Sun means hope. But I'd stayed forever in the dark. A phone rang. Detective Cheng. We found a microchip in the victim's clothing. An unsent recording. My voice filled the room. Kyle, if you're hearing this, I'm gone. 3 years undercover. I collected enough evidence to take them all down, the ledger, the chip. Lucas, sorry I couldn't make it. Live well. Don't grieve. Silence. Lucas collapsed, wailing. Chloe. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I shouldn't have doubted you. I shouldn't have believed Vivian. Vivian stood frozen, face white. I didn't mean to. I really didn't. She covered her face, sobbing. Kyle shut off the recording, eyes full of grief. We'll avenge Chloe. Everyone who hurt her, they'll pay. Chapter 7. With the ledger and chip, the takedown was complete. Interrogation room. The boss denied everything, until Kyle slapped the evidence on the table. He slumped in his chair. That Chloe woman, tough as nails. We tortured her for so long. She never gave up the evidence. Said we'd pay. Kyle's voice was ice, she didn't pay enough. You crushed her fingers, cut her tendons, poured acid down her throat, dumped her in a ditch. The boss sneered, if she hadn't stuck her neck out for that couple, she'd never have been exposed. She walked into it. She was protecting the man she loved for 7 years. You monsters wouldn't understand. Death sentences for the boss and all his lieutenants. Vivian Lin got 3 years for evidence tampering and obstruction. At sentencing, she stared at Lucas in the gallery, begging. He never looked at her. The day the sentences came down, Kyle took Lucas to my grave. The headstone read, Chloe Cheng, brave undercover journalist. Kyle placed the verdict papers before it, voice breaking. Chloe, look. Justice was late, but it came. Lucas crouched, fingers tracing Chloe Cheng. From his pocket, a yellowed envelope. Love letters I'd written him years ago. Childish handwriting, full of joy. At the end of each, a little sun, just like on the headstone. Chloe, I kept every word. You said when I made it, we'd buy a little house by the ocean. Watch sunrises together. Watch stars together. I made it, but you're not here. I floated beside him, watching that envelope. Memory flooding back, the first time I'd mustered courage to write him, hiding in my room, rewriting a dozen times. Using scented paper so he wouldn't be embarrassed. Kyle brought sunflowers from the car, placing them by the grave. Dew still on the petals. Chloe, I promised I'd bring you back to the sun. Look, good light. Sunflowers blooming. Wind stirred the petals. Chapter 8. Footsteps in the distance. Vivian's parents approached with fruit and flowers. Bowed deeply. Her mother, eyes red, Chloe, our Vivian wronged you. She cries every day in prison. Too ashamed to face you. Asked us to apologize. Lucas's face went cold. Tell her, 10,000 apologies won't bring Chloe back. Her father sighed, we know. We failed as parents. We'll visit often. Tend your grave for her. They left their offerings and walked away. I watched them go. No hate, only calm. Kyle and Lucas stayed until sunset. Then left slowly. I followed, watching their backs. Remembering Kyle carrying me home as a kid. Lucas's sweaty palm the first time he held my hand. Back at the apartment, Kyle packed my things neatly. On my desk, journalism school entrance exam prep books. In my closet, the white dress Lucas gave me for my birthday, I barely wore it. On the nightstand, the photo of me, Kyle, Lucas. All three of us grinning. The red mole under my right ear clear as day. Kyle murmured, Chloe, I'll keep your things safe. Lucas walked to the desk, picked up my prep books. Chloe, you said you'd be a righteous journalist. You did it. I'll carry it on for you. Expose more darkness. Make sure you didn't die for nothing. Chapter 9. He kept his word. He started an anti-organ trafficking foundation. Funded victims' families. Funded young journalists. This is Chloe Cheng, a brave, righteous undercover journalist. Every time he introduced me, he'd say that, eyes shining with pride. She showed us, even in darkness, we can reach for light. Kyle helped at the foundation. Planted sunflowers in the courtyard. I floated beside them, watching. Peaceful. Suddenly, my body started fading. Light growing around me. I knew, time to move on. Last look at Kyle. Lucas. The world I'd loved and protected. Kyle. Lucas. Goodbye. Live well. Don't grieve. Kyle looked up suddenly, eyes red. Chloe, are you leaving? Lucas searched the air, voice breaking. Chloe, don't go. I still have so much to tell you. I shook my head. Smiled. In the light. 15 years old. High fever. Kyle carrying me through snow to the hospital. Snow on his shoulders, his coat wrapped around me. Hold on Chloe, almost there. When I woke, he was slumped by my bed, still clutching the scarf I'd dropped in the snow. My first craft project, crooked stitches, but he wore it for years. 18. Bursting into the station with my admission letter, slapping it on his desk. Kyle. I'm gonna expose criminals. He ruffled my hair, smiling, whatever Chloe wants, I support. Just, don't put yourself in danger. I was too full of righteousness to see the worry in his eyes. 20. My birthday. Lucas setting up candles on his rental balcony, holding sunflowers. Chloe, when I make it, we'll get that beach house. Watch sunrises together. I teased him for being cheesy, but I pressed that sunflower into my notebook. Every article I wrote, a little sun in the margin. 22. His startup failed. Drinking alone in his rental. I put my savings on the table. Lucas. Try again. I believe in you. He hugged me, eyes wet. Chloe, when I make it, I'll give you the world. First big deal closed. He drove home all night, a little box in his hand. Inside, a thin necklace with a tiny sun charm. You always said you'd chase light. I'll be your sun now. Stay with you. I teased him for being cheesy, but I never took that necklace off. Not even in the shower. Until I went undercover. Hid it behind the radiator with the ledger. Then, Vivian in prison. Lucas's package. Inside, a photo of me and Vivian. On the back. This was Chloe's most treasured photo. You owe her more than you can repay. Vivian stared at it. Covered her face. Cried for a long time. Finally understanding, she'd lost the only person who'd ever truly loved her like a sister. 3 years ago. The docks. The boss watching Lucas and Vivian on their honeymoon. Her eyes meeting mine, a flicker of hesitation. My body dissolving in the light. Kyle and Lucas reaching for something, grabbing only air. But I knew, this wasn't the end. Only a beginning. The light brightened. Last glimpse, sunflowers blooming in the foundation courtyard. Just like I always said, where there's sun, there's hope. The moment before I faded, that voice again. Chloe Cheng, in this life, you held to justice. In the next, you'll rise toward the sun. My name is Chloe Cheng. 28. NYU Journalism School. Parents died early. My brother raised me. I had a fiancée, 7 years together. Thought we'd grow old. I had a best friend, treated her like a sister. Trusted her with my life. Now I'm dead in a drainage ditch. 20 days in the water, unrecognizable. 10 fingers crushed. Tendons cut. Acid poured down my throat. I chose this. To protect the people I loved. Worth it? I don't know. But Kyle taught me, be honest. Live up to yourself. Lucas said, even in darkness, reach for light. They both kept their word. The sunflowers in the foundation courtyard, they're blooming. Sunlight on the petals. Just like the one I pressed in my notebook. This is my story. A story about dying in darkness, and being carried back to the sun. My name is Ching Chu and I am 28 years old. For 3 years, I infiltrated their organization. I ingested evidence, severed my own fingers and tendons, and was doused with sulfuric acid. I died in a filthy ditch for 20 days. The couple I protected, one was my 7-year-old fiancé, and the other was my closest confidant. They got married after my death. On the autopsy table, they said I lacked character. After the evidence was made public, he sobbed uncontrollably, and she ended up in prison. Sunflowers were planted in front of the tombstone. He said, even though you died in darkness, I will bring you back to the light of the sun. It was worth it.